Angel Reese is facing massive backlash after pulling off the ugliest stunt in WNBA history. She decided to pump herself full of illegal steroids. Yep, those banned substances athletes love when they're too scared to compete fairly. And let's be honest, with Reese, this doesn't even surprise anyone.
Strategy. You just wanted attention. You were being an attention whore. And so because your basketball couldn't do it, you went to other things. It's like a kid that can't get attention from its parent.
Now she's out here crying over the massive fine, a solid lawsuit, and the complete humiliation from every corner of the league. Oh wait, not the whole league, just Caitlin Clark's fans, because let's be real, Reese doesn't have any left.
I think Angel Reese is jealous of Caitlin Clark. She thinks she's, the reason why this is all happening here.
And what does Reese do? Blames her own coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, for this disaster. Who are you trying to fool, Angel? You're not tricking anyone. We all know you're probably cooking up another shady tactic to squirm your way out of this mess, but this time, you're in way too deep.
Chicago Sky said goodbye to Teresa Weatherspoon, saying that it was time to, quote, make a change. And that change meant that Teresa Weatherspoon had to make her exit.
Angel Reese really did it this time, didn't she? The so-called next big thing in the WNBA just flushed her career down the drain with this steroid scandal. And honestly, it's laughable. She's not just facing suspension or a slap on the wrist. No, Chicago Sky is coming for her hard with a massive lawsuit, dragging her to court for violating league policies and ruining their entire season with her selfish little steroid binge.
They know that we know. They know. Teresa Weatherspoon knows that everybody's thinking Angel Reese is the only starter in this game.
And what did she pump into her system? EPO, yep, the same stuff cyclists use when they're trying to cheat their way into superhero status. And just to make sure she fully sealed her fate, she threw anabolic steroids into the mix, beefing up quicker than she could rack up missed shots. If you thought this was a rookie mistake, think again.
Addiction is real. The addiction to attention is real.
Reese went all in, and now her career's 6 feet under. Seriously, she had to resort to turning herself into some muscle-bound science project just to stay relevant. That's embarrassing. And what's worse, she didn't even have the guts to own up to it. Nope, instead of admitting that she messed up, she pulls the weakest excuse in the book, blaming her coach.
That relationship cost her her job.
Apparently, her coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, influenced her to do it. Reese is out here, a full-grown adult at 22, claiming she didn't know any better. Are you kidding me? What is this, kindergarten?
Would Angel Reese prematurely end her rookie season to spare herself the embarrassment of losing Rookie of the Year to Caitlin Clark?
The WNBA is hanging on by a thread now, thanks to her little science experiment blowing up in everyone's face. The league's credibility is in the dumpster, all because of one player who couldn't handle the pressure. And that pressure? Let's be honest here, it's all about Caitlin Clark. Reese couldn't stand that Clark was everything she wasn't, and never could be. Clark walked into the WNBA and instantly became the talk of the league. The so-called rivalry? It was a joke, completely one-sided. Reese couldn't handle being in Clark's shadow, so what does she do? She crumbles.
Now you have a rivalry here. Angel Reese wants to be Draymond Green. But there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch the WNBA, may not care about basketball.
But instead of working harder, improving her game, or trying to actually earn some respect, Reese takes the absolute lowest road possible. She turns to steroids. She thought juicing up would give her that extra edge, make her relevant again.
If you're a big star, you should not need to beg for attention. If you're a big star, you should not have to exploit yourself.
But guess what? Even with all those illegal substances coursing through her, she still couldn't touch Clark's level. Clark didn't need shortcuts. She didn't rely on trash talk or dirty tactics to get attention. She let her game do the talking, while Reese was out here flailing, desperate for any scrap of attention she could get.
Angel Reese is the villain, Caitlin Clark is the hero, and Angel Reese continued to play into it last night by getting ejected, and it's almost like it's all scripted. This is perfect. for the WNBA. She's all the talk. She's the one standing up there in front of reporters saying, I need all of you guys to realize there's two of us that changed the game of women's basketball. And it's not just Caitlin Clark. I was a part of that 2 years ago in the national championship game, and it's going to continue to be that way from here on out. I kind of love it. I don't agree with her. It's way more Caitlin Clark than it is Angel Reese.
And all that trash talk? Laughable. Reese tried so hard to play the villain, leaning into the controversy, thinking it would make her relevant. But the media wasn't buying it, the fans weren't buying it, and the WNBA definitely wasn't celebrating her mediocre performances. Her whole act was crumbling, and instead of stepping up, she took the easy way out. She thought steroids would save her career, but instead they've completely destroyed it.
WNBA has been around a couple of decades, and people didn't notice the game. They're noticing it now. Well, that's because of Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese.
Her so-called double-double streak? Let's not pretend it was impressive. Most of her rebounds were just her cleaning up her own mess, missing easy shots left and right. And instead of working on her game, she juiced up, thinking that was the answer. Well, now she's the poster child for one of the biggest doping scandals in WNBA history. It's honestly pathetic. This is how she'll be remembered, not as a star, not as a future legend, but as the player who cheated and still couldn't win.
People in sports figures, are you kidding me? A woman that rebounds and shows up half naked to games. They're just anyway, there's so much I want. Just start with the Sports Illustrated.
Chicago Sky wasted no time showing Reese the door. The moment this mess hit the media, she was out. Suspended? More like exiled. They didn't just kick her off the team. They're dragging her through the mud with a lawsuit that'll make sure she never forgets this colossal screw-up. Let's face it. Reese didn't just break the rules, she obliterated them. The WNBA isn't playing around with this one. They gave her the ultimate punishment, a lifetime ban. Joakim Noah might have gotten a 20-game suspension in the NBA for something similar, but Reese, she's banned for life.
You just wanted attention. You were being an attention whore. And so because your basketball couldn't do it, you went to other things. It's like a kid that can't get attention from its parent.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it does. The Chicago Sky is saying Reese didn't just mess up her own career. She wrecked their entire season. They went from having a shot at the playoffs to finishing with a dumpster fire of a 13-27 record. And they're blaming Reese for dragging the whole team down with her selfishness. I mean, they had hope before the Olympic break, but that hope died the minute Reese decided to juice up. The lawsuit claims her actions caused dysfunction, ruined team morale, and completely tanked their chances at success. And now they want her to pay for it, literally.
Now, the self-proclaimed villain has decided to go after the queen. Now, Angel Reese has decided to antagonize lonely grown women, many of which probably watch the Yentas on The View, and who strangely refer to themselves as Swiffers.
Now you'd think a coach would step in, right? Maybe give her some real advice, tell her to work harder. Nope. Teresa Weatherspoon, Reese's coach, was no better. Instead of stopping Reese from ruining her career, she supposedly encouraged her to go for it.
If you're her coach and you care about her, you're not doing this. You shouldn't be making the focus another statistic. You shouldn't be making the focus another fake something.
Imagine being so desperate to save your team that you push one of your players into doping. That's next level bad coaching, and it cost Weatherspoon her career too. She didn't just fail to lead, she actively helped Reese destroy everything. If you're looking for an example of how not to coach a team, Weatherspoon is Exhibit A.
You shouldn't be doing that. You're hurting her, and then you're hurting your other players.
But it gets worse. Weatherspoon wasn't just making bad decisions. She was obsessed with Reese to the point where it ruined the rest of the team. Players like Camila Cardoso, who had real potential, barely got any spotlight because Weatherspoon was too busy focusing on Reese. Her entire strategy revolved around propping up one player, and it cost them big time. The locker room was a disaster, the team didn't trust each other, and the whole thing fell apart. It wasn't just Reese's fault. The coach was right there with her, driving this train straight into the ground.
It's very disappointing. I saw that spoon, Teresa Witherspoon. She was a WNBA player, unbelievable player. She got terminated today from Chicago Sky. I don't understand that decision.
And now, what's left? Weatherspoon's once promising coaching career, gone. fired right alongside Reese. Once respected, now remembered for enabling one of the biggest doping scandals in WNBA history. All of this because she put her faith in the wrong player and let her judgment get clouded by desperation. Reese thought steroids were her ticket to the top, and Weatherspoon thought it would save their season. Turns out it was the perfect recipe for disaster.
And Angel Reese is stirring this up. So while she doesn't, Angel Reese always comes off as the victim.
Angel Reese officially turned the WNBA into a joke and herself into its punchline. Now everyone's questioning if the league's anti-doping policies even exist, because clearly, Reese thought she could slide right through them. And let's be real, nobody believes she was playing clean before. She's dragged not just her own name, but the entire WNBA into this mess, leaving a stain that won't wash off anytime soon. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out there showing how it's actually done. No shortcuts, no dirty tricks. Clark's raking in the spotlight the right way, landing a $28 million Nike deal, while Reese is left choking on the dust of her own scandal. Talk about a brutal reality check. Reese wanted to be the star, but all she's managed to do is torch her own career, while Clark shines brighter than ever. Now Reese gets to watch from the sidelines as the league moves on without her.
Look, I think it's a blessing and a curse because, sometimes you look at, well, Caitlin Clark got her team pro. That's different. You can't judge your team's success by somebody else's success. I don't know what they were expecting.
This isn't just a bad day for Reese. It's the end of the line. She didn't just destroy her own future, she nuked it. And with the Chicago Sky coming after her with a lawsuit, the message is clear. Cheat and you're done. Reese's dream of being a star is officially over, replaced by the cold, hard truth. She's now the WNBA's biggest cautionary tale. Her legacy? Shattered, and she's got nobody to blame but herself.